Fallout 3 and New Vegas are known for being good games. One thing they are also known for is having great DLC, and since completing Fallout 3 originally, I decided to play the 4 DLCs with the game and give them a separate video reviewing them. This will be done in the traditional review style, except I will be ranking them amongst each other. Before I get started with this ranking, just be aware I like all these DLCs. I don't think there's a single bad DLC, so this will just be how much I enjoyed the DLC on its own. Now that we're done with that, grab your alien blaster and some squid food, and let's get started. Operation Anchorage starts when you bump into some Brotherhood outcasts fighting some super mutants and follow them to their base. At some outpost, you go down the elevator and are greeted by 2 members. I don't know why these guys were so suspicious of me, but mama told me to be understanding. So then one of them is like, yo, I see you have a Pip-Boy, let me take you to my boss. So he does, and his boss is actually kind of cool, unlike him. His boss tells us we need to get into this room, but for some weird reason this room requires us to complete a simulation of a famous battle called Operation Anchorage. We tried ourselves, but we need a Pip-Boy. We need your help. Fortunately for us, we have a Pip-Boy, and we're like, okay, we'll do it. And we get into the simulation chair and begin Operation Anchorage. Operation Anchorage is a fun, even if it's a little false view into a big war in the pre-war era of Fallout. I like the DLC. It plays like a straight shooter, and with that to my sniper rifle, I was getting shots off. And the rewards you get at the end of it are in no way half bad. You get a cool sword, rifle, and T-51 armor that never gets damaged, I think. Only thing I'd say about this DLC is it's kind of short in comparison to the rest of them, and that's really it as far as Operation Anchorage goes. It's definitely number 4 on the ranking list. Point Lookout starts when you approach this suspicious looking boat with this guy who looks like he's off that za. This lady comes up to you and asks you to find her daughter, and I might have said yes and never found her anyways, but that's besides the point. We buy an expensive ticket and head into Point Lookout. Right away, the thing I'll say about Point Lookout is it gives me Steamland vibes from Killing Floor, but just like all the DLCs in Fallout, it's a unique place. Swamps and carnivals, inbreds, and different types of enemies. While exploring this place, you will see all types of things, but the one thing you will go to first is most likely the Trap Mansion. You go into said mansion and you probably meet the pettiest ghoul ever, Desmond, and he tasks you to find the leader of the double-barrel shotgun wielding tribals that renovated his house and his dogs. Rip the dogs. And the quest that was the funniest to me throughout this whole entire thing was when your character takes some hallucinogen to get in the tribe, and this sequence ensues. But afterwards, and a couple quests later, you find out where the leader is and what he is, and you and Desmond go on and kill him. And the reason I put this one at number 3 is because I feel like the next 2 are just a step above Point Lookout. Now, that doesn't mean Point Lookout is bad. I just think, like I said, the next 2 are really good. For these last 2 DLCs, they're pretty interchangeable. I don't think there's one thing they do better than the other. So I'm just going to talk about the first one that comes to mind, and the one that did would have to be Mothership Zeta. While I was exploring the wasteland clad in T-51 armor, I stumbled upon the remains of a UFO and a dead alien. Being the greedy guy I am, I obviously wanted to see what this dude had. However, before I did, I was kidnapped. Of course, I don't know what happened in time I was asleep, but apparently, as the lady in my cell tells me, they really like me, which is good, I guess. While in this cell, we cook up a foolproof plan to get the aliens to unlock our cells so we can get out. And what is this foolproof plan? Well, it's to fake a fight. Now, you would think aliens would not fall for this or unlock our cell, but they do. And after escaping our cells, we bump into Sally, who conveniently unlocks doors for us. After finding all our gear conveniently stashed away near us, we start our quest of getting out of space and back to the wasteland. And the thing I will say that I really liked about Mothership Zeta is that it's an actually really difficult DLC. I feel like if you're not rank 30 or smidgen below rank 30, this might be a tricky little DLC. But luckily, I had like 100 stim packs just chilling in my pocket. So every time I got shot, I would just take a stim pack. But these aliens are really strong, and their weapons are crazy strong. I think one of them does like 80 damage but yeah, you can get literally access to all these weapons. And if you are even in a smidgen for caps, just get some of these and sell them. But like I said, it's really fun to take a look at what Bethesda's idea of space would be in a world like Fallout's. It's just really cool, I guess. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it other than aliens is always going to be cool. And like I said, you get to see new robots such as these. Then you get to see the aliens. I know, the most original idea, but then you get your ragtag group of people, and I'm not even gonna get started on these people, but the Pittsburgh. Let me tell you about Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh DLC is probably, you know what, I'll give it to the Pit. The Pit is probably the best DLC, and like I said, it's just another DLC that gives you a cool look into another place. And this DLC has a pretty fun story. I mean, if you're into the morally gray questions of Fallout, then this is a DLC for you. But just looking at this place, looking at the different places in this place, you can really get the sense that this is a place filled with despair. As you see in the clips I'm showing, this really isn't an ideal place to live, and the story in this DLC is, again, just really cool, and there's no wonder why Fallout 76 revisits the Pit years later. It's such a cool place, and if I ever do a video on 76, I will probably play this and talk about it. The DLC in 3 just didn't miss, and it's not a hot take, but if it is, we live with it. Each one of these DLCs piqued my interest in one way or another, and more or less in all aspects delivered a fun or unique experience that I didn't experience in the base game. And the rewards you get at the end of these DLCs is well worth it. The DLCs are all really solid, and if you haven't, definitely play them. Peace.